Okay, you guys got to help me out here. There's something I'm not processing this correctly. Something's wrong. Why do so many people think that the states having control over their own destiny is a bad thing? I'm just a dumb mechanic in the middle of the desert. What do I know? Let me explain this from my point of view. Then you guys can tell me where I've got this wrong. Just give me 2 minutes.
Welcome to Gen X Slices.
Okay, before you get carried away, let's just move the Constitution to one side for a minute. The Constitution is the Constitution is the Constitution. It governs us all, and there is a need for the federal government. Yes, someone has to run the military. We have to have foreign relations. I get the federal government has a role, and the Constitution is in place, and it stays right there. Let's just set that aside for a minute. We'll pick it back up at the end, okay? Let's just take one example so we're not here all day. Sometimes the federal government steps in and said, okay, we're going to take something over, and you guys as the states are all going to follow along. Let's take the Department of Education as an example. I think the case can be made that after it became fully operational, there has been a steep decline in the education of our children. And it doesn't seem to matter how much money you throw at it, it doesn't get any better. Got to tell you, it seems to me most problems in our country don't get better just by throwing money at it. But that's another topic. Here's the nuts and bolts of the whole situation the way I see it. I think as a country, we could probably all come together and agree on a baseline that every school should have a minimum standard of reading, writing, math. I think that there's probably some history, some basic history. There's some science, some things that should just be taught at the baseline level that every school should teach. I don't disagree with that. But I don't think that a federal bureaucracy, sort of a one-size-fits-all, works. A one-size-fits-all program inherently will leave people out. I think with the exception of a very basic starting point in education, each state knows their children better than the federal government ever will. Don't people in Kentucky know the strengths and the weaknesses of their children in Kentucky? They can build on what's strong, and they can spend more time on the part that the things that the children need, that there's the shortcomings, the things they're not as good at. Wouldn't that be different in Los Angeles? Wouldn't Los Angeles know, hey, our kids are really strong in this area, they're weak in this area, we're going to spend more time and resources over here? Same in Colorado, same in Texas. Do you think a one-size-fits-all program, the curriculum down to the nth degree is the way to go? No, I wouldn't. It would just make sense that you would have the states would know best what to do. I'll go one step further. I think the counties of each state might be able to improve on that a little bit also. I'm just saying, you don't walk around and have a federal agency, one-size-fits-all program says, we are going to tell everyone in the country what to wear. It doesn't matter whether you're in New York or Miami. It doesn't matter if you're in Arizona or Seattle. Everyone in July will wear a tank top and shorts, and everyone in the wintertime in January, everyone, no matter where you are in the country, is going to wear a big, thick, heavy fur coat. What sense would that make? All I'm saying simply is that I believe there are quite a few areas where the federal government doesn't need to have its hands in what the states are doing, and let the states have control over it, where they can look at their individual citizens, their people, their children, and they could probably do a better job suiting those needs. Why does everyone seem to fight against that so hard? Why do you want the federal government to have more control? I really am dumbfounded by that. I don't understand that at all. Okay, I know where you're going with this. I do. The first thing you would say, this is where we have to pick the Constitution back up, because you're not going to let it go. You're going to tell me something like, well, what about the Second Amendment? Should each state decide the right to bear arms? No, I told you in the beginning, the Constitution should be left where it is. I believe that. Oh, here it comes. The next thing you guys say, abortion. And okay, you know what? I'm not here to litigate the abortion stuff with you. I don't know enough about it, okay? I really don't. I read the Constitution. It doesn't use the word abortion anywhere, okay? I know that a Supreme Court found the 14th Amendment under the heading of privacy and right to liberty, said, yes, abortion's legal for everyone. It's a constitutional right. That became the law of the land. I also know that a Supreme Court recently revisited that and said, no, not so much. It's not constitutionally protected. The states can decide. And I know a lot of people are up in arms. Let the states decide what's best for their citizens. Okay. All I'm saying is that it doesn't ever seem like it's a bad idea to take power away from Washington. Maybe it wouldn't be such a bad idea to give some of it back. Give back some of the power to the states. Let the states decide. Maybe even let some of the counties decide, or the cities and towns decide. Maybe there should be more involvement at a local level than everything being a federally run bureaucracy. I don't understand why you guys fight with that so hard. That really blows my mind that everybody stands up and they want the government to be in charge of everything. And I don't. But again, what do I know? If I'm missing something here, let me know. I know the federal government has a purpose. We need a military. We need foreign relations. We need a border. I get that there's things that it should be doing. I also think there is a lot that can be turned back over to the states, and the counties can decide for their own people better than the federal government ever would. And I have no idea why so many of you are opposed to it. You're just going to have to let me know.